I think that it's quite nice being a social worker in Cornwall because obviously you're in a beautiful part of the county. You've got the seaside. It's quite a rural area, so there's quite a bit of travelling involved. But that can be quite nice sometimes because you're visiting different clients in different places, and sometimes that can be quite enjoyable. The travel side of things. I work in Bodmin and Wadebridge team, and I've got a very supportive team around me, a manager. There's quite a lot of communication that we have between each other on a daily basis, so I feel quite supported, quite confident in my role. I've always got people who I can go to and ask for help if I need to, and so I feel that it's quite a positive job role to have. Well, I've been working here for a year in this particular job role as a social worker, and obviously we have access to training, regular training, online training, and moving forward I'd like to maybe progress to look at a principal social worker role, which I would need to do a post-qualification award for. So that's something that in the future I have my mind on, and there's a learning and development team that support with that process of finding out how you can do that. A principal social worker role, they are more involved in maybe the training and development of the team, so looking at maybe some more complex cases and clients, and developing how we work with those for the future. So that's an opportunity that would maybe be available to me. I think what's unique about Cornwall is that the management team are quite accessible in comparison to other places that I've worked. You can pretty much go to them for any issue, and there'll be somebody who can help you. Another thing that's quite unique is the flexibility around the care and support that we give to people. So I think from a management perspective again, we're really looking at the individual when we work with them and what's going to work for them. We're looking at what's in their best interest, and we're trying to be person-centred in our approach. We're not just going with what would, we're not using one-size-fits-all kind of approach when we're working with clients. Obviously you've got lovely landscapes that we work in, the beaches and coastal towns and areas, which can be quite appealing for people, especially if they want to come and live in Cornwall. And I feel that there's a sense of team spirit as well, particularly in my team where I work, and really supportive peers and other team members. I think I love about Cornwall, aside from the job, is the sense of community that we have here. People really feel strongly about their identity as Cornish people, and there's a lot of festivals and events, and always something going on that people are a part of in communities, and I think that sense of coming together is something that people in Cornwall do really well, especially during this pandemic the last year. There's definitely been a sense of people coming together to support the community through a really difficult time, especially with food bank provisions and other charities and organisations all coming out and making sure that the wider community is supported during a really difficult time that you perhaps wouldn't see on a level elsewhere. So I think the most rewarding part of my job is seeing progression with the clients that you work with over time. Sometimes you work with people who have really, really difficult backgrounds, traumatic lifestyles, and they really struggle to make changes in their life. We see a lot of neglect, a lot of people who are living in dire circumstances, a lot of domestic abuse relationships, and seeing small changes that you can make in those people's lives through access to services, or helping them to move somewhere, or providing them just with emotional support, really can make that difference, and you can see that long term in people. So that's probably the most rewarding part of my role. So a typical day is obviously, get up, read your emails, see if there's anything urgent that needs to be dealt with that day. You making obviously any telephone calls that are needed. So we have a team briefing every day at 9:30 where we'll speak to other team members, see if there's anything that needs prioritising or any team members need any help with any particular cases. Talk through any issues or problems that we have, and there's a good team support there. And then for the rest of the day I might be going out visiting clients, completing assessments with them, signposting them to services. There's obviously a paperwork element of the role where you have to write up any visits or paperwork that you might have, and holding meetings, and those can include online meetings or face-to-face meetings. So that would be a typical day. So the teamwork's really good. As I said, we touch base every day, and also we can contact team members throughout the day, particularly me being new in the role, new here for a year. Sometimes there's difficulty with technical issues, using the systems that we have in place, but there's always team members on hand that you can go to and ask for that support. So there's a good sense of teamwork. There might be a difficult visit that you might have where a particular client might be worried about the response you might have on that visit, and I've noticed obviously the team always pull together and offer support if that's needed. So you feel safe and reassured. Always at the end of the day, the rest of the team members checked in to see that everyone's safe, and I think that's really important. That's not happened elsewhere in other roles that I've had, but we always make sure that everybody's safe back home at the end of the day. So I feel that quite secure knowing that somebody knows where you are and that you're going to be safe.